Stupid logo. Yeah, that's better. You can get it. Marvelous.
Yo, what's good? Welcome back to the channel, y'all. And look, ever since OP12 has came out, we have been getting nothing but lies left and right, up and down. You look in your shoes, you look in your boxer drawer, you look in underneath your sink, you just see a whole bunch of lies and deception to tell you guys what is actually the best decks in the format. And that's a fact, not an opinion. Facts.
You can't handle the truth.
So I'm just gonna go ahead and take this upon myself to bless the streets with the real top 10 decks of the OP12 format, and these are all backed behind regional stats. You heard me right. Ooh. Regional stats. This isn't the fake sim. This isn't somebody's favorite tier list with his favorite deck at the best. This is nothing but regional stats, and we're also going to be showing you guys the budget of all these decks as well. So if you guys are brand new to this whole entire One Piece TCG scene and you guys are on the budget, some of these decks are kind of budget related as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into our top 10 best decks of the OP12 format, gang. Let's get it. So our first deck that we have on the screen right now, coming in 10th place, has to be Blue Purple Sanji. Yes, I told you guys, and I feel like I was the only one in the streets to tell you guys, this is a shiest ass leader if you guys actually know what you're doing, and that's a fact, not an opinion. Blue Purple Sanji has 48 points, sitting at a 3.02% share. Okay, that's what these points, the deck, and also the share means. The deck is the deck, the points pretty much how many regional points this deck has gotten, and also the share is the percentage of the pie that takes part of, the pie, pretty much. You guys know what a pie chart is. If you don't, you guys need to go back to 4th grade math. Some of y'all do. Y'all can't read and y'all can't add. It's actually insane.
I can count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 6, 8. Well, I can count to 5.
Anyways, let's go ahead and get straight into it. So we have Purple Sanji. This is what they typically run. This is the core cards that you guys are really going to be looking forward towards. You got the pudding right here. You have the Sanji right here. This is also OP12. I'm not going to really read any of these cards because I'm going to be here all day, but this is what this deck is typically running. 3 of these, 4 of this Sanji. This is actually the staple and glue of your deck. This is kind of like a pseudo Burgess from Blackbeard. You literally have this on board, and it can't really be removed because the like you guys see right here, you may return 1 Don from your field to your Don deck if this card is removed from opponent's effect, and also gains 1,000 power. This is a staple glue. This is like your big beater of the deck. Gum Giant, Wedding Crasher, Let's Crash This Wedding. So these are all the staples that you guys do see running some board move. The Gum Red Rock, and also the Jet Cavern as well. Culverin, I'm sorry. And yeah, let's go ahead and look and see what our latest topping deck was. This was actually from September 6th. A lot more people are starting to be on this deck. I told you guys, I feel like I'm one of the only ones in the street to really tell you guys that people, this deck can definitely cook. And this is the actual deck. It's $40. This deck did top, and yeah, look at this, $40. Look at the $40. So if you guys are on a budget, this is the deck for you. We're gonna briefly go over all of these cards so you guys can see, but if you guys are on a budget, this is a deck that's literally underneath $50. It's actually pretty insane. And if you guys are going to buy these cards, just make sure you use our TCG link that's in the description of this video and on our channel for TCG player. That's a fact, not an opinion, but nonetheless, $40 top 10 deck. The only thing about this deck is that you have to be shice, bro. Just like what I said about UP Luffy. In order for you guys to really cook with UP Luffy, you have to be a shice as leader. It isn't a deck that you could just pick up like Green Zoro and just win. You guys are gonna have to know the lines and know the matchups as well. So really good deck, top 10 deck. And yeah, let's go to get straight to our 9th best deck of the OP12 format, gang. So this is our 9th best deck. It's Blue Kuzan. I actually have a how to beat video getting ready to come out after this video, probably let's say probably like on Thursday, pretty much showing you guys how to pack up this deck. So make sure you stay tuned to that. My personal opinion about this deck is still pretty strong. It's once this deck high rolls, you can't really stop it just because of this Monkey D Garp combo with the Kuzan right here, and also the Sakazuki right here, and also the Armin Key right here. When we can look at the ratios, he's running 4 of the Searcher, he's running 4 of the Tashigi right here, the Searcher, he's running 4 of the Hina right here, he's running 3 of the Sephiroth right here, he's running 2 board removals with the Zero with anything but 5 costs or lower. Pretty crazy. Actually, it's not even 5 cards to lower. This is you know, let's see. It says you may trash 2 cards from your hand. Your opponent returns 1 card. It's not even a limit on which card you can return. So this is actually a shice-ass card getting rid of any big bodies on the board. But the big thing of this deck is this combo right here, the Garp combo into Kuzan, Sakazuki, Armin Key, and before you even get to that combo, you start bringing down this Jozu, okay? And he also running some board removal with this, and this deck actually has a pseudo Gum Giant in this Ice Block Pheasant Peck, so very shice in my personal opinion. This is sitting 9th place. Let's go ahead and read its stats real quick. This Kuzan is the 9th best deck of the format with 51 points, sitting at a 3.21% share of the pie. Let's look at the most recent top, which was the Madrid regional. This actually got first, so this is the first place topping deck list that we're gonna have for the streets, and it's only $40. Bro, you guys can literally pick up 2 decks off rip for under $100, and this literally just got first place. Kuzan, look, I can't believe this is actually so cheap, $41, and it came first place. If you guys are a brand new player, you know, you guys can really pick up this card. Like I said earlier, you guys need to be a shice pilot. This is one of these decks that you guys really do need to know your lines. I'm not going to break down any of these type of decks, or I'm not going to really break down anything in this deck too much. Just know that it's a high rolling deck. If you guys can really get out this Monkey D Garp into the Kuzan, if you do that 1 or 2 times, you're pretty much always going to win. Pretty much get the late game and you win. The biggest hindrance about this deck is board removal. This deck really does lose the board removal, but lucky for you guys, there's not really too many board removal decks in the top 10. I'm looking at the top 10 right now, and there's only 1 black deck, and it's not really even a board removal-esque type of deck. So Kuzan coming in first, $41, can't be beat. 9th typing deck list. Yeah, that's all I got for Kuzan. Let's go ahead and get straight to our 8th best deck of the format, gang. So for our 8th best deck of the format has to be Blackbeard. I told you guys, as long as Blackbeard has this crazy ass ability, this deck is always going to be good. And when we just look at OP12, nothing has really changed with this deck. Yeah, nothing. This is literally an OP11 deck. The only thing I've really been seeing a little bit different compared to all of the other Blackbeard decks is that this one is starting to use a little bit more of the Black Vortex. Not just particularly this deck, but just Black in general. I'm starting to see a resurgence of Black Vortex. It did come out of OP09, really good staple card. But outside of that, this deck is pretty much solved. I mean, you're still playing the 4 Kuzans, going into the burgers. These are your staple and glue of this particular deck right here. Having some board rule of the Don Q, blocker of the Caribou with a 2K, you know, Van Augur. I mean, this deck is pretty much solved. Nothing has really changed. And actually, I don't even think this deck is even using anything from the structure decks as well. I don't think so. Yeah, let me see. I don't think any of these decks, I don't think any of this deck is really using anything from the brand new Blackbeard structure deck. It just shows you how strong this deck really was when it initially came out. Let's go ahead and just look at this. This came in 3rd best place from Madrid. Madrid had a whole bunch of shice-ass cards being ran, or decks being ran, and that's a fact, not an opinion. Let's go ahead and read Blackbeard's stats before we continue. Blackbeard 8th best deck with 61 points with a 3.84% share of the pie. Let's go ahead and look at this 3rd placing list and see how much this deck costs. It's okay, over $50, still not bad. Like I was saying earlier, if you guys are a player that just wants to play a deck that just has to get the end game and you just win, that's pretty much this deck. You get the end game, you have the Jesus Burgess on board. Like I said, it's kind of similar to that Sanji I showed you guys earlier in that purple blue Sanji deck. It's pretty much kind of doing the same thing. Always protected, having a +1000 with cards in your grave, pretty shice. But yeah, this is pretty much your you know, your bread and butter of the deck, and also this Marshall D Teach right here as well. Actually, he's actually running the Marshall D Teach right here. Okay, so he is actually running this staple from the structure deck. This is actually a really good card in this deck as well. This is like a pseudo version of a Jack. Really, you know, not bad, not bad. You also running the љubuⱠ. љubuⱠ is also the most expensive card you're going to be getting outside of these Kuzans. So, you know, $60, still not bad. 8th topping ranked deck for our OP12 format. And if you guys are a fan of playing floodgates, not letting your opponent play, pretty much this kind of reminds me of Flu. If you guys played Yu-Gi-Oh, you guys are coming over here from Yu-Gi-Oh, this reminds me of Flu. Okay, Flu with D shifter. That's pretty much what this deck is. Floodgate, 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 and you just win the game. That's pretty much just how it is. But yeah, 8th topping deck, ranked deck for our OP12 format. Let's go ahead and get straight to our 7th best deck of the format, gang. Let's get it. So for our 7th best deck of the format is none other than 옐로우NL. This is actually the only yellow deck that's actually in the top 10 best decks of the format, which I'm actually really surprised 옐로우NL is even up here, to be honest with you guys. If you guys did not know, OP15, from what I've been hearing from the streets, is going to be based on Skypiea. So if you guys are a fan of 옐로우NL, this is the time to pick it up, because we're going to start getting, I guess we're not really going to start getting leaks from OP15, but you don't want to wait until we get to OP15 to see what's announced, because all these cards will be going up, especially something like this NL right here, staple in this deck. Kuma as well. This is $35. I don't know why this card is still so much. Yellow's really not doing anything. Can somebody tell me why YGOD is so expensive? I mean, you have to have a big pocket to play this deck. So if you guys are really on the budget friendly, you're not really going to be able to play this deck, to be honest with you. Nonetheless, 7 ranking deck, really good. The last time this deck actually did something, came in 4th at Madrid. Madrid was just really cooking. I mean, all these different decks, you love to see it. Let's go ahead and read 옐로우NL stats. The 7th best deck of the OP12 format with 66 points, sitting at a 4.16% share of the pie of the format. So not bad. 6th place is actually the best ranking deck list that we actually seen as well. So let's go ahead and take a look. So as you guys can see, this deck's expensive. Damn near $300 after tax and shipping. This is going to be a very expensive deck, and that's why I'm wondering why is the yellow card so expensive? This is my thing. It's like, why are all these cards so expensive? When we just take a look and see what is the most expensive things in this deck, it is the Shirahoshi. This comes from EBO1. The price didn't necessarily go down as well. 3. I remember this card used to be $30 each. The next expensive card is this Nami for some board removal. The next one right here is also the Kuma. You need 4 for $140. This is the main thing of this deck that's really costing a lot of money, which is very crazy. Outside of that, we have Nico Robin for some life burn. We have 1 NL for some rushing, 3 useless kids with some life burn. So this is a life burn version of NL, 4 NL from EBO2. And they're actually not going out with the 10-drop ace. It looks like the 10-drop ace has been phased out, which is actually pretty crazy. That used to be a staple in every single 옐로우NL deck. But yeah, this deck, 옐로우NL, $267. I'm gonna keep it 100 if you guys, after shipping, after tax, you're probably gonna be looking at 300, probably 350. Is it worth it? Depends. If you're YGOD, yellow gang die. YGOD. Shout out to all my delinquents.
Half a pound of lemon kush, call that pack the lemon drop. Canary yellow, lemon white, big bird yellow top.
If you guys are you know, with the gang, I mean, pick it up. But you know, $267. It's really just this card right here. If you subtract $143 from this, you're looking at like a $150 deck. I don't know why these yellow cards, especially this card, is so much. I truthfully don't know. It's never been number one. But it is what it is. You have to have deep pockets to play yellow. That's just what it is. Okay, the bitch is too bad, our drip is too hard, and our weed is too strong, and that's a fact, not an opinion. You guys have to have deep pockets to play this deck. And yeah, that's all I got for 옐로우NL, gang. Let's go ahead and get straight to our 6th best deck of the format. So for our 6th ranking deck of the OP12 format for the West has to be none other than Red Shanks. Yes, Red Shanks. I told you guys Red Shanks is a good deck. It's going to be in the top 10, and Once again, we are right. When we just look at all of the staple core cards, it looks like a lot of the deck is pretty much solved. A lot of it is pretty much staples. You have the Utsu, the Search, you have the Hongo, you have the Lucky Roo, you have the 3 Shanks, you have the Ben Beckman versus board removal. Board removal is Silver's Rally, board removal of the Shanks. Rushing, this is like your main staple of the deck right here, is this Shanks right here. Just, you know, this is your boss monster. No Goldie Roger as a staple, and from what it looks like, a lot of these people are running just one Divine Departure. Not bad at all. Let's see when, oh, it actually came first at Attack Games Online September 6th. Really, that's crazy. That's actually really crazy. First place, that's really cool, bro. First place, Shanks. Let's go ahead and read Shanks stats. It is the 6th best deck of the format, sitting at 80 points with a 5.04% win percentage of the pie. I wouldn't say win percentage, but it's the share of the pie. 6th ranking deck. This did actually come first place. Let's go ahead and see what he's actually running. So $147. It's not bad. I feel like anything underneath $150 for a deck is not bad, to be honest with you guys. Let's see the most expensive cards in this deck. The most expensive card, what you're really gonna be paying for, is the Silver's Rally. Yeah, 4 for $63. That's the reason why this deck costs so much. And outside of that, we have 4 for $63 is the real reason why this deck is so expensive. Next most expensive card is this Marco with some board removal. 3 for $35. That's still not that bad. Look, any deck that's underneath $150 to be competitive, to be a top 10 deck, you guys can never really go wrong with it, and that's a fact, not an opinion. When we look at everything else looks relatively cheap, to be honest with you guys. I'm gonna go over every single one of these cards so you guys can see them for yourselves. But you know, Shanks is still, look, this is like the staple red deck. If you guys just want to play a basic red deck, this is the best red. Actually, it's not the best red deck, but you know, you guys should already know what the best red deck is. But if you guys are a Shanks fan, especially with the lore and everything, this might be the deck for you. If you guys just like playing big bodies in past term, like with the Big Beckman, the Ever Newgate, and the Silver's Rally, this is also a deck for you. Okay, if you guys do like rushing the board, you know, really spinning the block, we have another red deck for you guys later in this countdown. But nonetheless, red Shanks showing up, $150, 6th ranking deck of our OP12 format. And yeah, if you guys are a fan, pick it up. Let's go ahead and get straight to our 5th best deck of the format, gang. So our 5th best deck of our OP12 format is none other than Sanji and Pudding. I'm sorry, it's green, purple Luffy, but you guys would really think it's Sanji and Pudding because it's pretty much the staple and glue of this deck. If you guys can really establish this on board, especially if you guys can establish a Luffy Taro combo going into like a Zoro Juro or even a Frankie right here, you can really, you know, you guys can really do a lot of good things in this deck. The leader ability Shice, the support is Shice. Ending off the games with this Monkey D Luffy is really good as well. Only thing about this deck is that it's relatively expensive. You guys see right here, EBO2, $30. This deck is really expensive, kind of like yellow. But if you guys want to play meta, if you guys are a meta slave, you guys just gonna have to drop the bag. That's just what it is. When you look at all the other core cards this deck is pretty much using, Gum Giant, he's running this Demon Aura, he's running the Merry Go, these are all the core cards. Let's go ahead and scroll down. So it did come in 2nd place, 10th place, 15th place at Attack Games Online Regional. Let's go ahead and read this deck stats, and we can go ahead and just look how much this deck costs. So green, purple Luffy, 5th best deck of the format, 91 points with a 5.73% share of the pie for our OP12 format. Not bad. This did actually get 2nd place, losing to Kuzan. This deck is actually $226. Like I said earlier, this deck is going to be relatively expensive. I'm not going to go over any of these cards like to really break down what this deck does. I already did a brief breakdown, so we're just going to go over the pricing for all these cards. And as you guys can see, like I said, and the major reason why this deck is so expensive is because of this card. One of these cards is $30 each. You need 3 of them. You're sitting at $90. The 2nd most expensive card is this Sanji Pudding. You need 4 of them for $46. And the 3rd most expensive card is the Usopp. I don't understand how this card is still so much. 4 for $34 is kind of expensive, but this is a very good future-proof deck. If you guys want a deck that's going to really take you to, years on in, it's block 3, so you guys are safe from any block rotations. Majority of this deck is from block 2 or 3, so you guys are going to be good in that aspect as well. And it's just a really good deck. You guys just need to know how to play it. Okay, that's just the truth of the matter is Really good deck, $226. And yeah, that's all I got for GP Luffy. A staple in the meta is going to be a staple in the meta for, you know, formats moving forward. Let's go to get straight to our fourth best deck of the OP12 format, gang. So for our fourth best deck of the format, it's none other than Red Rayleigh. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, the next 4 decks is pretty much, you guys should look, if you guys are a fan, if you guys do play the One Piece card game for OP12, you guys should already know what the top 4 decks are. If you guys don't know already, I'll break it down. But Silver's Rally, this is pretty much the Zoro replacement. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Red Zoro from OP01 will be getting rotated out next year. This is literally its replacement. It's a top 4 deck as well. So if you guys like playing a red deck without any board removal and really like rushing the board, this is the deck for you. The staple and glue of this particular deck is this Monkey D. Luffy. If you guys can establish 1 or 2 of these on the board, you're pretty much always going to win. The biggest thing about this deck is that you guys want to beat the opponent with this deck before you get to their 10 Don turn. This deck really does struggle against high body, you know, type of character, type of decks such as Kuzan, such as UP Luffy, things of that nature. So if you guys do like a rushing deck, you know, this pretty much is the deck for you. These are all the core type of cards, and this deck should be relatively cheap. When I just look at everything right now, this deck should be relatively cheap. This card is $7, and this is just the core cards in the particular deck. When we scroll down and we look at the TAC Online Regionals, 4th place by Hang. Not bad. Let's go ahead and read Rayleigh's stats. 4th topping ranked deck. It has 181 points and also has 11.34% share of the pie for our OP12 format. Let's go ahead and look at this most recent deck, and it's actually 130. Like I said, any deck that's underneath 130, $150, it's not bad. Remember, this is a hobby. You can't be cheap. I mean, would you rather play this deck or play a Yu-Gi-Oh deck that costs $1,000 that gets rotated out in 2 or 3 months? Okay, so if you guys are complaining about $100, $130, you probably shouldn't even be playing the game, or you should be playing one of those other decks that's, you know, $40, $50. But Silver's Rally, really strong deck in our particular format at the time. Zoro replacement. If you guys like rushing, aggroing down, this is the deck for you. And yeah, there's nothing else I really need to tell you guys about this deck. If you guys like, you know, spinning the block before you get to 10 down, this is it for you. Let's go ahead and get straight to our top 3 decks of the OP12 format, gang. So for our 3rd best deck of the OP12 format is none other than Green Zoro. There's been so many people talking about this deck. I really don't want to talk about it, but I have to, because this is what this video consists of, telling you guys what is the best deck. Green Zoro, just being able to attack a body and then also attack life. Really shy, in my personal opinion. Board protection with this particular card, but the staple and glue of this particular deck is actually a couple cards, to be honest with you. It's this Cavendish. Anything that's green, you put this Cavendish on board. If you can't get rid of it, more than likely you're going to win the game within the next 3 to 5 turns. TCG is also another good staple. I feel like this is probably one of the best staples in this particular deck, just because it allows you to get a free leader ability as well, bringing back 3 Rested Dawn. But this is your boss monster of this particular deck, is the Draco Mihawk right here. You guys see it on the screen. These are all the core cards that is ran in this particular deck, and this is also one of the best cards as well. Is this Luffy is the man, pretty much being able to restand your Zoro leader. Very shice, very shice. Let's go ahead and go down a little bit. So our most recent topping deck with this Zoro came in 5th place from the TAC Games Online Treasure Cup. Let's go ahead and read Green Zoro stats here real quick. This is the 3rd best deck of the OP12 format, sitting at 258 points with 16.25% share of the OP12 pie. Let's go ahead and look and see how much this deck costs. 220. This is actually kind of expensive, but why is it expensive? It's because of the Cavendish. Like I said earlier, this Cavendish, these EBO1 cards are actually pretty insane. The fact that it's still these pricing, my personal opinion, I would tell you to stay far away from this deck, because Cavendish is I'm pretty sure it's getting a reprint. Correct me if I'm wrong. This deck is getting reprinted, not the deck, but this card is getting reprinted. And if this card does get reprinted, the price of this is going to drop dramatically. This is going to probably be a $150 deck. The outside of that, the next expensive cards is TCG right here for some board protection, and also this Draco Mihawk from OP12. But you know, besides that, this deck is relatively cheap. The biggest reason why this deck is so much is just because of this card right here. I don't know why these EBO1 cards are so much, but you know, it is what it is. Let's scroll over every single one of these cards so you guys can actually see them. Like I said earlier, if you guys are picking up any of these cards from TCG Player, make sure you guys use that link. And yeah, Green Zoro, probably one of the best green decks that we've ever seen in existence. And look, I don't mind. Green's never really had its time to shine. So if, you know, Green Zoro's good, why not have it be good? And Zoro's a fan favorite. That's all I got for Green Zoro. Let's go ahead and get straight to the top 2 decks of the OP12 format, gang. So for our second best deck of the format is none other than Blue Purple Luffy. There's been a ton of drama when it comes to this particular deck because, like in my last video, all of the top players baited you. They told you guys this is a locals deck, and this is coming from pro players. These top pro players told you guys this deck was trash. They said it was locals level. I was one of the only ones, if not the only one, to tell you if you guys are a Shice pilot, if you guys are a Shice pilot, if you guys are a Shice pilot. But once it's solved, I feel like it could possibly be in Brazy to where you have to be a Shice as pilot to be able to contend with A1 and Shice. But right where you have to be a Shice as pilot to be able to contend with A1 and Shice. But right
5 minutes later, this deck can be good again, or is just dead? I will tell you the answer.
Okay, so yesterday I spent a little bit of to try it. So I think it's good against the rogue decks, but struggles against tier 1 decks right now because without Mama is really tough. Okay, so yesterday I spent a little bit of to try it. So I think it's good against the rogue decks, but struggles against tier 1 decks right now because without Mama is really tough. Okay, so yesterday I spent a little bit of to try it. So I think it's good against the rogue decks, but struggles against tier 1 decks right now because without Mama is really tough.
Damn, that shit feel good.
This deck is a S tier deck just because of this leader ability. Banning Big Bomb and Katakuri from this deck literally did nothing. I told you guys earlier, only thing about this deck, it just had to be figured out, and pretty much this deck has been figured out. And the pros pretty much found out what this deck could do. They just told you everything else was better because they didn't want you guys to know the sauce. They didn't want you guys to know, you know, the truth, okay? But, you know, that's all we do over here, spread the truth. But when we just look at all of these OP12 tops, look at this. First place, third place, 7th place, 12th place, 16th place, 18th, 29, 32, 6th, 5th, 13th, 9th. But everybody told you this was a mid-trash deck. You know, ever since Big Bomb got hit, this deck wasn't going to be seen. Bro, I'm telling you guys, this is why we make these videos, to really help the community out, and that's a fact that it. Before we actually look at the most recent list right here, let's go ahead and read UP Luffy's stats. So Blue Purple Luffy is the second best deck of the format. You guys are probably wondering, what is the #1 deck? I don't know. We're gonna have to check that out. But this is the second best deck. It has 290 points, sitting at 18.26% share of the pie for our OP12 meta. Actually insane. Let's go ahead and look and see. $250. Why is this deck so much? Let's go ahead and it's Bon Clay. Another EBO1 card. I'm telling you guys, these EBO1 cards is breaking people's pockets, and that's a fact, not an opinion. Bon Clay is the reason why this deck is so much. 4 of them is 83, and then after that is Sanji. You need 4 for 62. Just these 2 cards alone, you're looking at damn near $150. Pretty insane if you ask me. We need some reprints of these EBO1 cards soon. I think we're getting them in PRB. But UP Luffy, this is one of the best decks out there. I mean, you read its leader ability. Even though it did lose Big Bomb and Katakuri, this leader ability is too strong. I've been telling you guys, banning those other 2 cards is not going to do anything to this deck. It's this leader ability. This leader ability is too fucking cracked, and that's a fact, not an opinion. Wait until we get to OP13. And you know, Emu is banned. I'm telling you, this is going to be a S tier deck right behind Ace, because there's nothing else that stands up to this deck just because of how strong this leader ability is. UP Luffy, here for the streets, the first one to tell you that if you're a Shice leader, this is an S tier deck. And yeah, this is the real stats. This is the real breakdown of how good this deck is. Second best deck in the format. Who could have known? I could have known. That's why I'm telling you guys, okay? Let's go to get straight to our best deck of the format, gang. So for the number one deck of the format is none other than Green Bonnie. I'm actually surprised. This is one of the decks that I've actually really surprised. I put Green Bonnie at the top of A. I was not expecting it to be the most represented with the most points, with the highest share. Actually, let's go ahead and read those stats real quick. Green Bonnie, number one deck with 300 points with 18.89% share of the pie. This is the number one deck of the format, which is actually pretty insane. Usually Green Bonnie falls off of after like 2 or 3 weeks, but Green Bonnie's actually sticking. The biggest thing about this deck is that it plays all the most broken green cards, such as the Cavendish, such as the Carrot, being able to freeze anything, such as the Eustace Captain Kidd, such as the Draco Mihawk, ending off games with the Hody Jones, board removal with the Shanks, and freezing things with this Doflamingo, okay? With some board protection with these two as well. So this deck is pretty much solved. I'm actually just very surprised that this deck is actually still number one, still holding number one. That's really good. Let's go ahead and look at the most recent OP12 topping deck. This deck is $270. Why is this deck so much? Cavendish, once again, it's fucking Cavendish, breaking people's pockets, ruining the day. I can't wait until we get some reprints. There should be no reason why you get 4 of them and you can get literally 2 decks for this price. I'm not really a fan of it. Not really a fan of it. The other card that is kind of expensive is Draco Mihawk, and right outside of that is Hody Jones and Jewelry Bonnie. This deck, I'm really surprised this deck is holding on to the number one spot. Like I said earlier, this deck usually falls off after the second, third week in the meta, but for some reason this deck is not falling off, and this is actually the number one deck of the format, gang. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's not only did we have a deck list type of video, but we showed you guys the top decks in the format, and we also showed you the price. So if you guys do want to buy these decks, make sure you use the TCG link, the affiliate link in my description, so you guys can help us against this war and against these simps, against these fake pros, against these liars, against these clickbaiters, against these pretty much everybody that's not telling the truth. That's pretty much what it is. I'm here for the people and the people alone. Fuck everybody else. I truly don't care. This is our top 10 decks. Bonnie's number 1, UP Luffy's number 2. That's all I got. I'll see you guys in the next one. But before I go, if you're feeling the vibes, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And out.